What? A spiritual home? Taking care of your spiritual home? What do you mean? Sanbonan. Good afternoon, good day, whichever it is, Thokozan. In this video, I'm going to be talking about sharing about what do I mean when I say that you've got, make sure that you're taking care of your spiritual home. What is a spiritual home, and then how do you even take care of it? Yeah, that's what I'm going to be sharing, talking about. And while we are at it, guys, this is why the type of content that you really want to be hearing more about, please kindly subscribe, kindly comment, kindly share, kindly like the videos, so that then many other people can it can be shown to many other souls. So what is a spiritual home? Guys, firstly, all of us, as we know, we are not only the physical. This is not the physical people that we are, but there's an aspect of us that is non-physical. Now, this non-physical aspect of us, it is what we also refer to, which is spirit. It is that part that we can't touch. It is that part that we can only experience through this physicality. So that is the spirit aspect. Now, that aspect of you also exists within a certain home. It's also got a home, and one of that particular home, it is this physical home, which is your body, and the other home, it is the actual home, which is the physical home that you also go and stay, and also many other homes that you go and inquire. Anything that it is in your name, it is actually your spiritual home. So when I am talking about your spiritual home, I'm talking about anything that has got your name in it, that it is your spiritual home, because in as much as you are not there physically, but your name, many of the times I can safely say your name is part of that that aspect of you. So anything that you can think of that has got a name attached to it, forms part of your spiritual home. So anything that exists because of you, your work, your children, your whatever, it forms part of what we call your spiritual home. Now that it's all out there, it is clear what am I talking about. Now, what has that got to do with you now, and with what we are talking about, which is the property, which is building a home? What has that got to do with that aspect? What we need to understand, guys, is that whichever property that you get drawn to, or the property that you are staying in, even if you are staying there because it is your home where you were born or where your parents are staying, whichever property you get called into, that property, you are emotionally or spiritually connected to it. Meaning that something within you called you or draw through that particular home into your physicality. It brought into this physicality because it connects with the person that you are, or an aspect of you exists around the particular home. So with that being said, what does that mean? That means then whenever you are called, you find yourself in a certain place where you come and stay in that space, you must know that that space has got some connection to you, even if you are renting it out. Even if it's a place that you are renting, you are connected to that home. Because it has called you, or when you have called it into your physicality, and then to go and exist and share your aspect with that space. So you need to understand, it does not necessarily mean that it's things that you have paid for, that because even when you are renting, it has got your name. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it is only those things there that you have paid for. But even the places where, for an example, at home, you were born there, but your name will form part of that home because of your of birth. by birth, you are part of it. So it's very, very important then to take care of those places. What do I mean by that? Firstly, you cannot be finding yourself to be speaking ill of any place or that your spirit or your other aspect of you exist within. Whether you are renting that place, you cannot be speaking ill of the place that you are renting. You cannot be speaking ill of the place that you come from. You cannot be speaking ill of the place that you were born in, So anywhere that you cannot be speaking ill. Why? It is because when you are doing that, you are actually rejecting or minimizing or looking down upon that aspect of you that called that space to your existence. For an example, if you are sitting there, the reason you are getting into property is because you want to get away from home, because at home there's many disputes, there's a noise, and there's always fights, and people are fighting over a house and so forth. So you are buying this home because now you want to get rid or get away from that so that you can have your peace of mind. Guess what? You are going to find that where you are going. Why? Because you take yourself with everywhere you go. You are taking yourself with everywhere you go. What then will happen? It will come in a different way. It will come in a form of, if you are in a property space and you have got tenants, then you'll find that you now having the same energy fighting with the tenants. If you are not fighting with the tenants, you are fighting with the agents. If you are not fighting with the agents, you are fighting with the body corporate, because it is the energy that has called you into that space. Hence, I'm saying you should not, because that particular thing, it is good that it has propelled you to go and look for or extend yourself into something else and something bigger. But you cannot look down upon it, because now you are going to miss the message or the lesson of you being part of that place. And when you miss the lesson, then you are going to take the lesson to where you are going, which is then you will then call upon the very same thing, same energetically, the same energy that was happening in your home where there was no peace. You are not going to have peace with your tenants. You're not going to have peace with your agents. You're not going to have peace with other business partners. If you're in a partnership, you are just not going to have that. Which is why I'm saying you need to take care of your spiritual home. What is it that you need to be doing instead? The first thing that you need to do, it is for you to thank the home, that space that you have called in. Thank it for the experience that you have had in that particular place. Instead of you not wanting, I'm leaving home because now at home there's always fights. Be grateful for those fights, because now through those fights, now you understand your peace is more important. But you are not looking down at the place itself or the energy, because now when you are looking down, you are rejecting it. But now when you are saying, you know what, I'm grateful for that moment, because if it were not for that, it wouldn't have propelled me to get my own space, because I now know that peace for me, or peace of mind for me, it is important. And another thing, you cannot have peace without the distraction or the disruption. So you must thank the chaos. You cannot have the peace without the chaos. So hence you must be thanking the chaos, because now if you do not pay for the chaos, you will not be knowing and understanding that you value your peace of mind. So when you are thanking this one, you are actually saying, now I see you for what it is that you had come here to do in my life, or you have come to show me. Now I want to experience this aspect. This is the one of the main reasons you will then go and take the energy with you because you are missing that particular lesson. Because everything exists in this form. And it is when we remove the actual judgment of this thing as wrong, it's not supposed to happen, that is making it to happen, because we are still missing the point that there's got to be the light and the dark. These things, the polarities, there's always an opposite to each other. Similarly, we have got the winter, we've got the summer season, we've got the day, we've got the night. So those things, they exist. There's a purpose for that particular place that you are in this particular place. So instead of you complaining that I moved there because of the owner, it was always on my case. They were making me feel that this is my home, and whatever there is that made you to want to move to get this particular place. The very same reason, if you are not seeing the lesson that that particular thing is holding for you, then you are going to take that with you to the next place, because now you are rejecting this aspect of yourself, because you are the one that called this experience. You are the one that called it. It just did not happen all by itself. You are the one who called it. So now that it is there, you then don't abandon it, you don't reject it, but then you let it or allow it to form part of you. When you do that, then you start taking care of your spiritual home. You start looking after your spiritual home, which is you in a nutshell. You stop then this, you entangle yourself from this energy where you're going to go now. Wherever you go with this particular energy. You see. So this is what I meant when I say take care of this spiritual home that you are. Because you called it in yourself, into your life. It didn't just pop up, you called it. So it's important for you to understand why it is that you called it, and now be grateful for the particular experience, which now brings me to the next part. Whenever you move, if you are going to do the physical move, you need to disconnect yourself from this energy in a good and a right way. You need to disconnect yourself. One of the things that you are supposed to be doing when you are to disconnect yourself, when you are moving, you have got to speak to the elements of that particular space, particularly the earth itself, the soil. You go and speak to it. You go and speak to the soil itself, because now the soil, it is the one that held the space. So it held you. So then you go and thank it standing outside in your yard, holding the soil, and then you say all your gratitude things, what it is that you are grateful for in this particular place, the lessons that you have learned, and then you say that, you know what, I am grateful. Now I would like to disconnect with this particular image of this earth, and then you pour the earth or the soil back into the earth, or you pour it back into the where you took it, and then or around the yard, and then you move. When do you do this? You do this when you are just about to move. If you are moving today, you can do it a week before, or you can do 2 days before, but just before you move, so that you disconnect yourself. You don't take the same energy to where you are going. Which then brings me to the next a part that I'm going to be talking about, which is why you keep having the similar problems in the next property that you go with, or in your properties you have the similar type of problems. catch me on the other video. Remember to subscribe. Remember to comment. Remember to like and even share if this content speaks to you. Thank you.